All right. Today is Wednesday. It's 12:31 a.m. It is May 21st. As early as and it's an ongoing thing. It's something called emotion. And emotion has essentially taken practical it's emotionally emotion has literally taken uh, every platform challenges that I've undertaken. Also, it has taken um, 2 years of options trading as well, equaling about 5 years. And what I realized is that during this journey, the learning process, the prolonged effect of the difference between the 6 months period where somebody learns how to trade, and then a person who spends 5 years trading, is that there is, for me, on a personal level, something called the emotion. And the latest emotion that I've seen is it's hard to believe. It's difficult to believe. Uh, I made over 1,600 YouTube videos and I posted it, and then it's been almost like 5 years now. And when I check on other people's YouTube videos and when they say that they're not profitable, and I look at them, they look like they're it's I mean, they've been doing it for so long. I'm wondering why, how, or if they're truly not able to be profitable as a day trader, as a trader. And then I realized, on my own personal journey, now it has been 5 years, and vast majority of it has been through something called the emotion. I mean, any interaction that I have with other people, even with the Ukraine and Russian war, according to President Trump's statement, is that there's enormous amount of egos in between them, right? That's emotion. There must be some sort of enormous amount of hatred, that emotional thing that causes them to be separated, and stir up that, yeah, emotional thing that they have. So for the past 5 years, as I was trading, even if I'm making money, there's the emotion clouds my mind too. It makes me think of the last time that I was funded, which was in February. Uh, I mean, I was literally telling everybody in the world how I was like successful, and then after making a 1.5%, and then it started to, I mean, drop, because that emotional thing just flipped the switch and caused me to be emotional at every trade, and that just uh, undermined that a funded account. And so the latest part of it is there's a thing that it's something that causes the blood to boil. It really does something. It throws out all logic. Okay, uh, it throws out all logic, and in certain situations, like a restaurant, right? Let's say that I was at International House of Pancakes late at night after finishing my job as a dishwasher, and I wanted to enjoy a 55 plus dinner with a breakfast sampler, right? And so I sat there. I asked the people, "Hey, I'd like a quiet place to sit down," and right, and so I sat down, I waited for about 40 minutes, okay? And then 40 minutes later, some other person comes over and plops down the food, and the guy says, "Hey, is everything okay?" Right? I'm thinking, "Yeah, it looks good," right? And then it took 40 minutes, so I scoffed it down like in a minute. There's emotion. There's emotion between the interactions between the waitress and myself, which probably caused the waitress to, because I'm trying to be non-emotional as possible, conducting a conversation, to say, look, internally I'm thinking in my mind, I'm just there to eat and get the heck out of there as soon as possible. I'm not here to exchange banters with anybody, and I state the facts clearly as possible, just like Joe Friday, right? So after eating, then I step over to the counter, and this young man, a millennial, uh, and so I asked him. So I have this card, and I said, "Hey, is it a card or is it a chip or is it a tap?" Right? And he said, "Yes." And I chuckled, and when I chuckled, the guy says to me, "Hey." So there's an enormous amount of emotion that erupts between the dialogues, the way that people interact. There's an enormous amount of emotion that is triggered because I say something that is different than what they expect, and they interpret what I say a non-emotional, non-weighted, just a straightforward statement of fact causes individuals to erupt in emotion. It causes them to be emotionally handicapped at that moment. And so the best way to do is just to diffuse the situation, pay the bills, and get the heck out of there, and that's it. And write and things like that, right? So so what I've noticed is that emotion can be compensated with a technical knowledge that I can write in an excruciating detail to create a scenario, or that I can code it in a language where the language will run by itself and take care of things. Um, Now that I need to think about that as soon as I start making money. I need to think about how I can implement that in my trading, right? So the latest one is that I would get like flabbergasted. Okay, I would get flabbergasted with the sequence of trades that I take. Okay, I take a sequence of trades that I take, and then I'm just like, oh my God, what's going on? And then just at that moment when I'm looking at it, I'm losing. It's like bleeding, right? I'm bleeding because the size is still small at that point. Then I lose it. I lose it, and then I start to go big to recover the mounting losses. If I keep losing one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight times with small, it turns out to be a big amount, right? And so then at that point, I'm looking at the P&L. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, how do I compensate for that? Otherwise, I'm thinking in my head that it's going to be like a weeks of work in order to recover if my trade turns out to be good. So at that moment, what normally happens is that as soon as I'm in that trend, it flips. It causes me to get into a emotional state of mind. I I go into I go into the world of emotional eruption. A volcanic eruption occurs, and that when that volcanic eruption occurs, when that volcanic eruption occurs, there is a liability to escape from the normal and civilized manner that I conduct my business of doing things on a daily basis, every minute, every hour, every every day of the business. It could careen out of control, which I've seen more than 350 platform challenges, and that is because I have been a slave to emotion. A slave to emotion. Okay? Uh, I have been under the emotional. Uh, I have been a slave to emotion. Okay, all this time, because that emotion causes the stir that blinds me from executing a strategically sound and reasoned trading plan that I have. But as soon as that trigger occurs, and when I run into that sequence, and also what these numbers will do is that if I lose like 5%, okay, or draw down about 5%, and I have to take care of that the next day, the mind somehow picks up that emotion at that time when I brought it down. And so I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I brought it down 5%. now I gotta come now I gotta make 15% in order to pass this platform challenge. Not thinking that the best way to do is to stick with the plan and increase it even if I'm in a drawdown. The best thing to do is stick with the plan. Okay, stick with the plan and defeat this emotion. And so what trading has taught me is that there is a tremendous amount of uh, contribution in trading with emotion. Okay, emotion. Now I've laid this out. I've discussed this. I've stated it. But emotion is. I have been a slave to emotion. Uh, uh, Slave to emotion all this time. Okay, it seems like now that I'm talking about it. Now I'm at a point where I'm getting tired of mentioning this now. I'm getting tired of mentioning that emotion. Uh, um, I have been a slave to emotion. Okay, I have been a slave to emotion, and I'm getting tired of saying that now. I'm at a point where it used to be like fresh. It used to be like, oh wow, something that I discovered about myself. Now I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting I heard this professional day trader talk about this as well. I mean, the person is extremely successful at the tender age of 25 years old, and he said finally when he something about not caring about the money at that point, then he started to like increase in knowledge at that point. And so for me, um, this this um, this journey that I have taken so far has been under the bondage of being a slave to emotion. Okay, uh, and then also I'm at a point now where I can say now it used to be very exciting, but it's not anymore. It's not. It used to be, oh wow, there's something called emotion, and that emotion has an incredible amount of contribution to the impact of on a negative basis. The greater emotional contribution to a particular trade causes a greater losses. Okay, and if I get lucky, even if I get lucky, what I'll do is I'll it'll jump up a little bit and I'll get out of it because I'm so emotional about it, because I don't allow the trade to breathe and uh, and keep going. So uh, at this point, yeah, I just have to record. I just have to record this. I just became conscious of the fact that I have been a slave to emotion.